Hey guys, how you doing? Today we're having a quick look at Gunmaster, the new game mode that is in the spring patch. It was in Battlefield 3 as well, so we should be pretty familiar with it. But unfortunately, I think there are a few problems with it that need addressing. Firstly, I know a lot of people have said this, but let's look into it. A lot of people have said that the game mode needs to be free for all. So just no teams, every man for himself. And I agree with that, but there are some problems. Think of it like this. There are no engine limitations that prevent DICE from having Gunmaster in free-for-all mode. In fact, they've said it is possible. The problem starts because the UI, the entire user interface, is set up for 2 teams. So that whole UI system, the scoreboard, the start screen, everything would have to be overhauled for that one game mode. And I think that's why it's not free for all, because it's a lot of effort for one game mode. Now, some of you will say, well, they should do it anyway because it doesn't make sense having it as a team-based mode. And it doesn't, I suppose, to a large extent, but I can't say that particularly bothers me that much. I mean, I've dealt with it before, and it's not that much of an issue. Ideally, it'd be great if it was free for all, but if it's not, we'll cope. That's not my biggest issue with the game mode. My biggest issue right now, and what I think needs addressing, are the spawns. Right now, on most of the maps I've played on Gunmaster, the spawns are pretty much the domination spawns that you first spawn at when you play a game of domination on these maps, and that's a problem for me. Essentially, think of it like this. 4 of your teammates die. Pretty much all 4 of you are going to spawn at the same time in the same location on the corner of the map. So you might run into one guy and absolutely destroy him. He might run into you, or vice versa. You could be the other side of the map, and 4 or 5 enemies will spawn in the exact same location at the same time. That is the first problem with it. The spawn system isn't random enough. It needs to be more random. You can't just use the domination spawns and expect it to work. This is especially a problem on some of the maps, let's say Lankang Dam, Hainan Resort for argument's sake, where some of the spawns are really far out from the action. On Hainan Resort, one of the spawns pits you out the other side of the pool, and it takes you a long time to get back into the action compared to the length of the actual game mode itself. This can be quite frustrating, especially in a game mode where you're dying quite a lot because it's quite fast-paced. You know, the guns are always unmatched, so you're going to die quite a lot. To spawn in the same place over and over again on the outside of the map isn't really much fun. That needs reworking. The weird thing is, on Gunmaster on Battlefield 3, this wasn't a problem, because you had just random spawns around the level, and it was quite a small level. You died, you had a random spawn. You died, you had a random spawn. For some reason, that is not the case in this version on Battlefield 4. You tend to spawn in the same general area until the spawns are switched. So a bit like TDM, when one team pushes, one team spawn, the spawns then switch and you take the other team's spawns, but still on the other side of the map, and then you'll just spawn there for 4 or 5 deaths. And it needs to be reworked. They need to have random spawns on the game mode. I have no idea why they don't, quite frankly, and I can't be the only person to think this, because I mean, I've only played gun game for maybe 25 rounds since it came out. I don't know, something like that, and it's become quite an issue for me and quite frustrating. I would also like to see something very, very small. It shows you the gun that you are working towards on the Gunmaster screen. It's got your little UI there. It says next gun is going to be the, you know, the FAMAS or whatever it might be. I do wish that once you obtained that gun, somewhere at the bottom of your screen, it did tell you what the gun was. Sometimes you kind of miss the next gun indication, you know, when you're in the heat of battle, and then you kind of forget what gun you've got, and then you try to go full auto and it's a DMR, or you try and go full auto and it's a burst fire weapon you haven't even realized. I mean, it's kind of your own fault, but it'd be nice to have some sort of indication on screen what the gun actually was as well, so you can kind of remember, yeah, it's the AN-94, I know how to use this. Or it's that DMR rifle, yep, that's cool, I know what's crack-a-diddling. And yes, I did just use the term crack-a-diddling. And I will use it again. Crack-a-diddling. There's only one other thing right now. I'm sure there'll be others. There's one other thing that needs to change in Gunmaster, in my humble opinion. I don't think they can, though, because it's built into the game. They can't take it out for one game mode. I just wish they could. Counter-knifing. You go 17 rounds of guns. 17 rounds. You do all the terrible guns. You get to the last one. You try to knife somebody, but you come in at the wrong angle. They counter knife you, and you go back a level. It's heartbreaking. I think counter knifing in general is not necessarily something I agree with anyway, but I wish, I know it's not possible, or I don't believe it to be possible, but I wish for gun game counter knifing, you know, could just be bloody turned off. You know, if you've done the entire Gunmaster, you know, level, you've done it all, you've done the 17 levels, and you actually get close enough to knife somebody, that should be it. You should be the fucking king, as far as I'm concerned. But I don't think that'll be able to be changed. But my main problem is with the spawns, and I really, really hope they can sort those out. I think it'll make the game mode far more enjoyable. Hopefully they'll do that, and I think it'll make it a lot more fun, because I enjoy it. In fact, I just love just jumping on for a game of Gunmaster. It's just a little bit different, a little bit of a different pace, so I'm all for it. Anyway, thanks for watching the video, guys, and I will see you on the next one.